Everybody, I am back. I am looking a mess over here because I am feeling a mess. I am ready to talk to you guys about my health recently. So I'm about to do some oversharing. I don't know if this is considered a trigger alert. So if it is, I'm warning you. But it's about fibroids, anemia, and surgery I have coming up. So I am about to tell you about what's been going on, but I am about to do something with my hair. Like I said, I have not been feeling well, so I've been looking a mess lately. But I'm about to wash my hair with one of my favorite products, the As I Am Dry and Itchy Scalp shampoo, the whole set. Oh, there's one of my shampoos about to be empty. Conditioner. Got some co-wash. And then I got a leave-in conditioner over here. I also have the oil for this too as well, but it's in the closet. Alright, so I'm gonna get started here. It's a mess. Alright, so start from November, towards the end of November, no, October, November, December, October, towards the end of October, I got a sinus infection. You know, I went to the urgent care, told me I had a sinus infection. And from there, my sinus infection a few weeks later turned into the flu. So I had the flu, and then about November 15th, I got my period. So, back in May of 2021, I had fibroid surgery, had my fibroids removed, and then I, not too long after that, I got an IUD to help my periods. My periods were very, very heavy. So after that, for the last like 2 years, I've had very light periods to almost no periods. So, fast forward back to November 15th, I got my period. 7 days, it was super heavy, having a lot of blood clots. It was horrible. But I figured, well, maybe it's because I had the flu. So maybe that's why it was so extra heavy. So I didn't think nothing of it. Just made it through those 7 days. But then 2 weeks later, my period came back. I am, my goal today is just to wash and blow dry my hair. Like I said, I haven't been feeling good, so I have not been doing much with my hair. But, so my period came back 2 weeks later, which was December 4th. I think that was a Sunday, Saturday or Sunday. So, anywho, Monday came, and I woke up in the middle of the night, like 3 a.m., and I was bleeding super heavy, and I got up to go to the bathroom, and blood and blood clots was just dripping down my leg as I was trying to get to the bathroom. So it was a lot, and I was like, you know what, this is not right. I'm going to the emergency room. And then the day before that, so my period was heavy, came back stronger, so I had went and got some tampons. So I ended up getting the Super, Super Plus, and Ultra. Did not know that they sell Ultra tampons now, but it helped. So went to the ER. By the time I called the ER and told them what was going on. You know, I was feeling fatigued. I was dizzy, lightheaded, and I think I might have been nauseous that morning. I feel like there was another symptom I can't remember right now. So she was like, well, if you're dizzy, yeah, you need to come in. So by the time I got to the ER, it was about 4:15. And within the first hour, I bled through tampon, pad, and my pants. So they gave me a few pair of disposable pants. And within that second hour, I bled through another tampon, another pad, and the disposable pants. So I had got one of these bed pad things from them, and I was everywhere I went, I took this with me. I was in an ER. I had to bring a few home, of course. So by that time, they gave me fees, and I guess it's basically a diaper, but they call it a brief. And they gave me some of these too, which is their pads. So let's see. So I'm gonna try to compare it to a regular size pad, but this is an overnight one. This is ginormous. But this is, I use heavy flow pads, but they're thin. So it was about maybe about that big. No, about 80% the size. But anyhow, so I think the third time, I had one of these on. Oh, they gave me some disposable underwear. So I had this disposable underwear, briefs, and I bled through that. So then they gave me this, and I was using this and this, and I actually did end up bleeding through one of these, and I had to change one more time before I left. So anywho, put this up. I might eat these later. Alright, so anywho, in the ER, you know, they said that my iron was low, and I think my iron was a 9 that day. My hemoglobin, that was 9 that day. Y'all gotta excuse me too. It is like 6 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and decided to get up out of bed and get something accomplished. But anywho, my hemoglobin was low, and they gave me some medicine to help me to slow the bleeding, and then they told me to follow up with my OB. So the medicine did start working. I started bleeding less. By the time I left the ER, it was about 5-6 hours later. Called my primary care physician. I went home and went to sleep. I was exhausted, just from all the blood loss. So I went to sleep, woke up, called my primary care physician and my OB, and they got me I got appointments at both offices the next day. So went to my primary care physician, and she said all of the things. Oh, also in the ER, I had a an ultrasound, outer and pelvic ultrasound. So they did tell me that my fibroids had came back, and they were, I had a very large fibroid that they saw that's where all the blood clots were coming from. And by this time, my blood clots were even bigger. Like, yeah, like I was probably pushing out blood clots like this, like at least once an hour, 2-3 times an hour. They were even coming out of me while I had a tampon on. It was crazy. I went to my primary care physician, and she said that everything that the ER did is what she would have done, and she says she wanted to see what the OB says, and she did do more blood work, and she wanted to check my ferritin levels. So both of my doctors, my primary care and my OB, are actually in the same building on the same floor. So I had you know, they were like 2-3 hours apart, the appointments, can't remember. So I just went over to the OB and let them know that I was here and I would be waiting, because I ended up getting dropped off because I didn't feel comfortable driving because the way I was feeling. Alright, so I finally got to see the OB. Alright, I just took a shower, washed my hair, cleaned my face. I used some Johnson's No More Tears for my eyelashes. My eye doctor said my eyelashes were crusty, and he suggested I use that. And I used this Pond's to clean my face today. And I think I got this from the dollar store. Anywho, about to blow dry my hair. I put in a little leave-in conditioner. I put in a little dry itchy scalp oil treatment, and then I'm going to spray with some blow dry. It was a blow dry and soap press collection. It's for heat guard. And as soon as I brought this, it dropped and I broke the lid, so I just have a little bit in a little spray bottle. So anywho, got to the OB, and you know, he had went over everything that we went over with the emergency room and my primary care physician. He had asked me if they saw my IUD, and I had informed him. I'm doing this. These are my where my scalp gets the driest right here. So anywho, he asked if they had saw my IUD on the ultrasound. I told him we didn't see it. So he checked, and my IUD has disappeared. And this is actually the second time. We think that my blood flow is so heavy that the IUDs are just coming out, and I'm just not noticing. So he checked, it wasn't there. So he sent me to get x-rays to check for the IUD. And he said he was going to send me to hematology for my blood, because, well, back up. So we went over the results from the pelvic ultrasound, and he confirmed that my fibroids came back and that they're bigger than they were the last time. So he was saying we can do the fibroid removal surgery again, or he hesitantly said that we could do a hysterectomy. So I had actually had a discussion with several people prior to me getting in to see him, who said that I probably have to get a hysterectomy. So I had already thought about it, and I told him, like, I'm all down for hysterectomy. So I told him I was down for hysterectomy. My oldest is an adult, and my youngest is about to be 18. So I'm not interested in having any more children. I got plenty of nieces, nephews, cousins. I'm good. All right, so we decided on a partial hysterectomy, getting rid of my uterus, I think, and trying to keep my ovaries. And I do have a cyst on one of my ovaries, which they have been monitoring for the last few years. And we're going to do the hysterectomy. And then he said, you know, sending me over to hematology because my iron is very low. I was at a 9, and he wanted me above 11 for surgery. So he sent me a referral to hematology. So I think that was it for that appointment. So I'm looking at my notes here. So this was Wednesday. The next day I called hematology. I got an appointment for Friday. So I got to hematology, it's about noon, and you know, they did blood work to check my levels. When I got there, I was feeling awful. I was still bleeding all week from Sunday to by this time it's Friday. And I've been explained everything that happened during the week. They checked my blood before I even got in there. So when I was in there, I was feeling fatigued. I had a headache. My head was like, I felt like my head was in a fishbowl. So lightheadedness. They ended up like putting my feet up. They brought me water. They brought me like cold, wet towels. And then the doctor came in. We were talking, and she was saying that they had just checked my blood. My hemoglobin was now down to 6.3, and she suggested a blood infusion as soon as possible. So I was like, all right, because I had already discussed this in the emergency room on Monday, because he was saying, he had said, one of the nurses was asking if I had to have a blood transfusion, would I do it? So that was Monday. This is Friday now. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So, you know, they're trying to get everything set up. They're trying to talk to me. So she's trying to ask me a bunch of questions, which I was okay with because this is why I came. I wanted to get some answers. So she was asking me questions, and like she asked me this one question, and I'm just looking at her like, what the heck? My head is hurting, and she's looking at me like I'm crazy. And I was like, I told her, you know, I felt like my head was in a fishbowl, and I tried to repeat the question that she was asking me, and then she was basically saying like she felt like I was deteriorating in front of her. She wasn't going to ask me no more questions. You know, she was going to reschedule me for to come back, but they were going to get me over to the emergency room for transfusion. So where I was, uptown Charlotte, I was attached to, the building is attached to the main hospital. So they put me in a wheelchair, and they had took me over to the ER. So I got to the freaking ER at, we'll say about 1:30 by this time. And by the time I got back into a room, it was about 8:30 p.m. I finally get a room, and you know, they explained hematology had ordered 3 bags of blood for me. Started the transfusion. After the first bag, well, during the first bag, my throat started itching, so they gave me Benadryl, and I was okay to continue on. My hair is so tangled. So they said they gave me the Benadryl and finished the other 2 bags. got home the next morning about 6:30 a.m. That was a Saturday morning. And hematology had me set up for iron infusions. So I started my first iron infusion the following Monday, which was December 12th. And after that, during it, everything was okay. Next day, when I got home, I think I went to sleep because I've been just really exhausted. And the next couple days, I started feeling better. I still had the fatigue, lightheaded, dizziness, and I'm losing my mind. I'm not feeling good right now. Now I have all my symptoms, but they're lessened, and now I have nausea. And it comes and goes all day. It's more prevalent in the mornings. All right, so I got my first iron infusion, and I'm getting my second one later on today. And today is Monday, December 19th, and then on Friday I go back to hematology for a follow-up. So right now my hysterectomy is scheduled for the end of March. I did reach out to my doctor to let him know that my new symptoms of the nausea. So he is going to try to get me into surgery sooner. So hopefully I'm hoping to hear back from the surgery scheduler today. Right now I'm currently on Orion. It's medication to lessen the blood flow. And it's twice a day. I have to take this until I have surgery. I take iron, vitamin C, vitamin D. I'm taking folic acid now. That's from hematology. What else? I think that's it. And I've been drinking stuff with beet juice in it. Got from like Whole Foods. I'm trying to eat stuff that's high in iron. And I guess that's it for right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this finished, because I've been taking many breaks as I've been filming this, and I feel awful right now. So if you guys would like an update, just let me know below in the comments. Tell me about your like fibroids, anemia. Have you had a hysterectomy? Have you had a blood transfusion? Have you had IV iron infusions? So I'm gonna go ahead and go, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.